The single most important lesson from Dr. Daniel Amen have learned from analysing 83,000 brain scans at his clinic. You are not stuck with the brain you have, and you can make your brain better on his SMART program. Dr. Daniel is a psychiatrist and brain disorder specialist as director of the Amen Clinics. Here's the set of healthy SPECT scans. The image on the left shows the outside surface of the brain, and a healthy scan shows full, even symmetrical activity. The colour is not important, it's the shape that matters. In the image on the right, red equals the areas of high activity, and in a healthy brain, they're typically in the back part of the brain. Here is a healthy scan compared to someone who had 2 strokes. You can see the holes of activity. Here's what Alzheimer's looks like, where the back half of the brain is deteriorating. Alzheimer's disease actually starts in the brain 30 to 50 years before you have any symptoms. Here's a scan of traumatic brain injury. Your brain is soft like butter, and your skull is really hard with sharp ridges. Drug abuse. The real reason not to use drugs, they cause damage to your brain. SPECT scan is the study that Dr. Daniel Amen conducts in the clinic. It is a very sophisticated brain imaging study that looks at blood flow and activity patterns, revealing how your brain works. It shows us 3 things: areas of the brain that work well, areas of the brain that are low in activity, and areas of the brain that are high in activity. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, where the front part of the brain typically works too hard, so that people cannot turn off their thoughts. And epilepsy, where we frequently see areas of increased activity. Imaging work taught Dr. Daniel Amen many important lessons, such as illnesses like ADHD, anxiety, depression, and addictions are not single or simple disorders in the brain. They all have multiple types. For example, here are 2 patients who have been diagnosed with major depression that had virtually the same symptoms, but yet radically different brains. One had really low activity in the brain, the other one had really high activity. How would you ever know what to do for them unless you actually look, and treatment needs to be tailored to individual brains, not clusters of symptoms. This is the scan of Nancy. She had been diagnosed with dementia, and her doctor told her husband that he should find a home for her because within a year she would not know his name, but on an intensive rehabilitation program by Dr. Daniel. Nancy's brain improved, so as was her memory. 4 years later, Nancy still knows her husband's name. Your brain is the most complicated organ in the universe. It is estimated we have 100 billion nerve cells, each connected to other nerve cells, not in a one-to-one connection, but up to 10,000 individual connections between cells. This means you have more connections in your skull than there are stars in the universe. Information in your brain travels at about 268 miles an hour. Your brain is only 2% of your body's weight. It uses 20 to 30% of the calories that you consume. So, almost a third of the breakfast you had this morning, or the lunch you had this afternoon, goes to feed 2% of your body's weight. On average, you lose 85,000 brain cells a day. What Dr. Daniel discovered at the Amen Clinics is you can accelerate the aging process with your behavior, or you can decelerate it. A 9-year-old boy who attacked a little girl on the baseball field with no particular reason. And at the time, he was drawing pictures of himself hanging from a tree and shooting other children. Most psychiatrists would have medicated Andrew and the other mass shooters before they committed their awful crimes. But SPECT imaging taught Dr. Daniel Amen to look at his brain and not throw darts in the dark at him, to understand. His SPECT scan showed a cyst the size of a golf ball inside of his left temple. No amount of medication or therapy would have helped Andrew. When the cyst was removed, his behaviour completely went back to normal, and he became the boy he always wanted to be. 18 years later, Andrew, who is Dr. Daniel Amen's nephew, own his own home became an employed and pays tax because someone bothered to look at his brain. Andrew, Dr. Amen's nephew, illustrates how examining the brain sparks positive change, unveiling its mysteries, transforms lives, and grants the privilege of shaping future generations. Seize the chance to refine your brain for a brighter, healthier future. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful or informative, I'd greatly appreciate your support. Please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. Your engagement helps the channel grow and allows me to create more content like this. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.